Kia ora, everybody. Welcome to the Unable Seaman podcast, the podcast that takes a light-hearted look at all things boating and fishing. I'm your host, Jake Kerr, and joining me once again is my first mate and best mate, Christian Jensen. G'day, mate. How are you?
All right, I am the best guest in the land.
Yep, the
Yeah,
only guest.
the only guest. Oh, Chelsea,
The man
I'm in
himself.
my bed. I'm in my bedroom, and Chelsea's like, close the door. That's a hint that I'm too noisy.
Oh, no, already. Yeah.
Kids are
Oh,
asleep.
yeah,
No, good.
I love podcasts now. So many people are in high-tech studios and all this, and I'm sitting in what's called the occasional chair in my room, which we only use occasionally. And you're in your bed.
I'm in bed. I've got a couple of pillows. I was like, where do I want to sit tonight? It's a shitty night. Where do I talk to the bro? I'll have a glass of water, which I kind of had a glass of water beside me before I poured it on the floor. Looking out at a rainy harbour. It's nice, bro. It's nice. Kids are asleep. Happy
So
days.
so
I'm a
the
dad.
weather's no good in Wellington. Surprise, surprise.
That's a shite hole. But I spent the weekend up in Rotorua with the parents, and it was mint up there. We were freaking lucky. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
nice.
Saw Dad's boat looking sad in the driveway. I said, Dad, when's the last time you took the speed demon out? He said,
So,
it's not good news, son. Not good news.
oh no, something wrong with it?
No, just he hasn't been using it. It's
Just never
winter.
been. Just for the listeners at home, what is your dad running these days?
He's got a pretty sick boat. He's got a 2000 Sea Nymph Charger, I think they call it, 550. So Becky's auntie's got one like that
Yeah, yeah.
on Lake Ridley. Really, really cool bow rider. I think I think Sea Nymph actually got that hull from Australia, which might segue nicely into one of our topics.
It will do later on.
But
Yes,
but it's a great lake boat, great harbour boat. It's got one of
and
those dirty Yamaha V4 two bangers on the back, and
oh, good.
it's
You can hear those from any. You doesn't matter where you are in New Zealand. You can hear the distinctive sound of a Yamaha two-stroke, and you know it's like a Toyota Hilux engine. You
oh
just
yeah, that's
know.
beautiful. Yep.
Yeah, beautiful sound. It's the
Oh,
purr
bro,
of summer, and
and it goes
normally you can
fast
smell it
too.
about 10 seconds after.
Yeah, it does about shit. It does like 75 k's an hour in water, which is pretty good. You
That's
know,
very good. And the fun fact about that boat is that it's never been in the salt water. And your dad, so when he bought it, never been in the salt water.
never.
And
Nah.
Christian, when his dad first bought it, so there's a bit of a story about them buying it. Christian found it and said, oh, because he was in that time of like, oh, let's make money off boats, which he was sort of doomed from the start, thinking you could make money out of a boat. But anyway, found this
Hello.
deal, went went to his dad and said, "Hey, Dad, would you like to go 50-50? Was it 50-50 on this
Yeah,
boat?
50-50. Yeah,
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 50-50 on this boat, and we'll buy it. It's been living in a shed, barely touched, never seen the salt,
yeah.
and we'll
Doesn't
sell
need
it in a few
anything.
years' time. We'll make thousands. We'll be rolling in the money."
Yep.
And then maybe I'm getting maybe the
No.
facts are getting away on this story, but next thing you rang the
Yeah.
uh, the agency that was selling it, the dealership that was selling it, to say, "Oh, we'd like to put an offer," and he said, "Sorry, sir, someone else has bought it."
Yeah.
What you didn't realize is your dad had absolutely cut your lunch, gone in
Yeah.
and bought it himself.
Yep. Yeah. So I negotiated the deal, the price, everything. Actually, even took it for a sea test, and I was like, "Yeah, this is actually pretty mean." And I said, "I'll go back to my dad and confirm that we're keen." And yeah, in that time, that's exactly what happened. And I was like, "Dad, you bastard!" So
Yeah, I would have rung Oranga Tamariki and put myself up for adoption.
well, like at the end of the day, I don't have to put a cent into this boat, and now I've got a boat up in Rotorua that's awesome, so I don't have to drag mine up. So
That's good. And but your dad is very specific. It will never go in the ocean.
never in the salt water. Yeah, like this
Never in the salt
trailer
water.
looks like it's new. The hull, like other than a few scratches from being on the beach, looks like it's new. The motor is immaculate. It's one of those two strokes where you turn it first pop, hasn't been used for 6 months, and it starts, boom, just goes, and you're like,
Oh,
how,
what's that
like,
like?
yeah, what's that like? It is immaculate in terms of like its
Yeah.
condition. Yeah, it's great.
Oh, nice,
Anyway, bro,
nice.
that
Well,
that
we've
two
got
banger.
plenty. Sorry, you go.
I said that two banger sort of segues us into our agenda for tonight's meeting.
Agenda. It does. So we've got a few things to cover tonight, and in no particular order. We're going to talk about our ultimate do-ups. So Christian and I spend our life looking at boats online and think, oh man, it's sort of following on from that. You see a deal, you think, oh, if only, this is a steal. You could spend a bit of money doing this up. The engine's a bit of a refurb, and you've got a dream boat. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. We're going to talk about a brand new boat from a company called Rae Line, who are based down in Christchurch and have got quite an interesting backstory. We're going to also follow that up with an Edencraft out of Australia, and we're sort of going to compare the Australian boats and Australian boat reviews with a New Zealand boat and the way that the boat was reviewed in New Zealand. Quite different there. And then I'm going to have a real whinge at the end about customer service. And you can feel free to switch off at that point because I'm going to go full Karen on it and whinge about a couple of brands that have really got under my skin recently.
Hey, and I also
So,
want to add there, Jake, because you know how I love to add a little bit. Um, I've got a boat that I want to show you, but also I was reading the latest. I think it's the latest boating magazine, and it's got your favorite ex-boss in there. That's a review on
oh,
him. Yeah, Finky.
what's he been doing?
Oh, they do you know how the news does a good sorts like section. It's the equivalent of that in the
Yeah,
boating magazine.
is that right?
In the latest one,
Wow.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
They let's just say they didn't come to me for comment.
yeah.
It would have been a bloody short article. Anyway, before I go and incriminate myself on that one, let's start with a boat that I've been really excited about since I saw the review. It popped up. I honestly only came across it on YouTube, and then obviously started digging a bit and a little bit more about it. That is the Rae Line 260 outboard. So it's their new
206,
range. So
206 outboard. Sorry.
206, 206. Jeez, I'm an idiot. Yep,
Yeah.
206. Thank you, Christian. Now I knew there was a reason you were part of this podcast. The 206 outboard. Now, bit of a backstory here, and I'm going to go back to an email I got because before bit of a backstory here before we sort of feature boats, I like to reach out and let people know at a bit of courtesy that we're going to
And
be
what do they
doing
normally
this.
say?
Some I do, some I don't. Yeah,
No, they say,
yeah. Normally they
we
say
don't even
we
know you.
prefer if
Fuck
you
off.
didn't. Yeah, piss
Give
off. Yeah. But anyway, I said to this very kind gentleman, Reese is his name, who's in charge of Rae Line boats. Is it true about Sea Ray boats, the relationship with Sea Ray boats? So my understanding was that um, so this they were building these boats. This relationship developed with Sea Ray.
Yep,
Okay, so, and
yep,
they were the only company outside of Sea Ray. For those that don't know, is one of the biggest boat companies in the world. Think Bayliner. I think they're all owned by Brunswick Corporation now.
yep.
And Sea Ray wanted and sort of to outsource some of their manufacturing, I suppose. And so they built this relationship with Rae Line boats. So they were allowed to A, build New Zealand made Sea Rays,
Okay.
and B, use Sea Ray hulls to then put their own deck and their own sort of spin on. So, I mean, if that's not a ringing endorsement, I don't know what that is. And here's the story that I had heard is that they'd made a couple of these New Zealand based Sea Rays, and that the CEO of Sea Ray was so impressed, he sent one back to the Sea Ray factories in the USA and said, "You guys need to be building them like this." Now, I
Shit.
wasn't too sure if that was a true story, and it's the folk. So I'll read what it says here. I can confirm that the folklore, if you say it, in the story is true. Sea Ray wanted to do an audit on the first few boats. Um, they met their standards, and they were so impressed by the build quality that they used them as the standard for their US-based boat factories.
Wow.
So, moving back to the 206, that's a pretty good pedigree coming in. You can definitely see some of the Sea Ray DNA in the hull, I think, the way it sort of curves back at the back.
Yep, yep.
And oh, a feature that I absolutely love
I was gonna
is
say,
the fix. Okay,
yeah, you were gonna say the fixed forward
the fixed
facing.
hardtop.
Oh, yeah, I know you're gonna say that because you love a forward facing rocket
I love
launcher.
a forward-facing rocket launcher hardtop towers. Like I love those forward-facing wakeboard towers in some of the boats. And what Rayline have done here, well, obviously, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll have a visual representation. But there's a beautiful stainless, ever so slightly forward-facing frame with a fiberglass hardtop, like an open I suppose it's called a targa top, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
Which you can
awesome.
put clears in, so you get all the benefits of a hard top, but you also get the rigidity of a. So a lot of people have the sort of canopy there, but they get flap in the wind.
Yep.
They feel a bit flimsy. This thing, and it just adds to the looks. It looks really cool and really evil.
And on the photos that you look at on the website, what they've done there with that particular spec, with that like tan brown, with the cool EVA flooring, the sort of faux teak, and that the black inserts and all that, it does look epic. And the Portofino stern with the sort of, I don't know, swim platform that wraps around the engine, very nice,
Yeah, yeah,
very very
very
nice.
very nice. And so um, I I reached out to Rae Line Boats and said, look, we're going to talk about them, and he was very kind enough to actually give up some of his life and listen to our podcast. And I had to apologize
No,
profusely for about 90% of what you said, Christian, which he got beyond that. And once he did, he
fuck 'em.
told me that he agrees that like some because I said, look, these boating New Zealand reviews, or not just boating New Zealand, but a lot of boating reviews are so contrived. They go out there, they say beautiful, oh, this is nice and this is beautiful, and
Don't want to
you
hurt
never
anyone's
actually get
feelings.
exactly, you never get a real feel for the boat.
Yeah,
So, and we've talked about that many times on this podcast. I won't bore you with our thoughts on it again. He was cool enough to say, hey, you boys, if you want to come down and give it a bit of a nudge for a period of time. So, Christian and I are absolutely going to do that and get to know the boat, because I think there's no doubt that stepping on that boat and looking through the photos, and again, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll know what we're talking about. Otherwise, go to our Instagram at Unable Seaman. You'll see the photos there. The finishing is exquisite.
does look
I
really
mean,
nice.
it's
Yeah.
it's a perfect blend, and
Can
that's
I
why we
say?
introduced the Sea Ray thing. But
Can I
it's a
say this, bro?
perfect blend of the cool things of American boats and then
That's
the
what is.
high
Yeah.
quality of a New Zealand boat. But you go, bro.
Like it looks like a really cool modern version of your Bayliner Capri. You know how that
Ha!
thing.
And hi, Christian Jensen. So I'll stop you right there. So, so Reese is obviously I think we're brothers from another mother, because he sent me this email, fantastic email with all of the specs and everything, and then he was talking about his sort of philosophy in that. Right, I'm going to read you quote, and you are going to absolutely suck the kumara on this, Christian Jensen.
Is he gonna say
And
you step up to a better lifestyle in a Ray a Ray line?
in terms, so we're talking about sort of the design philosophy and how he got to
Oh,
the boat. No, I'm going to come back to more of that in a minute. But
can
there
you
was
stop
a
boring
line.
me? Give me a double
uh,
brown already.
in terms of the initial styling and lines, I have always been a big fan of the mid 90s to early 2000s Sea Rays with their flowing lines, amazing sleek windscreens. Now, he said Sea Ray, but you will know, as an ex
Yeah,
Bayliner owner, I
they're the
went
same.
on and on. You would not, you kept calling it a piece of cheese, every nasty name under the
I was
sun.
gonna say I've always liked their sleek lines and affinity to camembert cheese. Polly,
Well,
bring me a cracker.
you have just made yourself look like an absolute amateur, because myself, as the host of New Zealand's least talked about and listened to podcast, and Reese, the designer of Rae Line boats, agree that old American boats look bloody good, and you can see that DNA in this boat here.
Oh, bro, you don't have to say that twice. Like, I really do like the old American ones, especially when they've got a dirty big V8 in them. Oh, and you rumble away.
Yeah,
Beautiful. Yes, but yes, you look at their website and there's a one photo there side on, and you go, I recognize that. I recognize that
yeah.
big time.
So,
That's
so
very
here's
cool.
again, if I can paint a picture for you at home, if you can't see it, here's what I got straight away. I think it is a blend of those American '90s boats,
Yep.
and then I see very much DNA of the Huntsman Centurion too. And I don't say that as to offend
No,
Rae
it's a
Line
good thing.
boats, because we think Huntsmen are fantastic. We
But
love their boats.
do you also see there you've got you know how Tristram have those really wide back to back seats
Yep.
with a proper pedestal at the front and then a really wide king and queen or queen seat which is behind? Can you see that
Yeah,
on the left-hand side pedestal?
I can. Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, and you go, well, that's freaking cool. And then a walk through, and then there's the tow point for your or your wakeboard toys and stuff like that. And then you got a
Yeah.
lifeboat tank. Like
I
it's
just think there's a really clever bits of design there. I mean, really big swim platform, that the large king and queen seat you've just talked about. Then the driver's on like a base seat with a chili bin storage thing underneath. Like again,
great.
it just, I know I've said it a minute ago, but there's some really cool like Kiwi features into that beautiful American styling
And,
um and that
and
sort of
you know how
design
I
language.
love the Ray Glass, how they have the in the is it the 620 fisherman or whatever? They've got that bench seat at the back.
Yes, yeah,
You know how I love the bench seat, and that's one of the
you
features I
love a
love on my
bench
bike.
seat.
Yeah. Well, you remember Radicat had a bench seat, and that was sick, eh? Like,
Yeah, that is
and this
cool.
one's got that too, which is pretty cool. Doubles as some storage, whatever.
Yeah,
Sick. Real cool.
it's so we
So
I think they look very very cool,
now you're telling
and we
me what was the owner's name again?
Reese.
Reese. So Reese said after you complained about how boring and lack of, I suppose, the lack of honesty in boat reviews in New Zealand, he then turned around and said, "Hey, take my boat and try and rip it." Basically,
Yeah, well, just be honest with it. So
cool.
look, we've just got to get to Christchurch, I think, and we won't bore everyone with off-show admin, but we will get down there at some point and we will do a video. And my idea is that we show up to Christchurch with a couple of sleeping bags and we live on it for a weekend. If you one way to work out a boat's quirks is to live on it for 24 hours.
I've got a photo that we'll have to reenact. Okay, picture this. So Chelsea and I are in our infancy of our relationship. Actually, way before that. I've just got to uni. I've taken Steve down there, right? Chelsea's wearing like this old school fluoro wetsuit, which has like been remade to look, modern, blah blah blah. She's like fluoro colours everywhere, and she's driving the boat, and I'm trying to take a photo of her while I'm behind the boat on the wakeskate, carving a big old turn in right in that harbour where those photos are taken on that Rae Line website. We can reenact that.
Well, we can reenact that. I'm glad you said she was in a wetsuit because I was quite worried there for a second you were stitching me up for some sort of thong bikini situation, which was
It's
one good
Christchurch.
way for Rainline to never contact us again. But
It's Christchurch, bro. That water's freezing in the middle of summer.
yeah, okay. Now
Anyway, next one.
we've said some good things about it. There's some things I'm not so sure about.
Oh, okay. I haven't
One,
got that far. Yep,
so
go.
the finish is beautiful. I think in terms of like as a day boat to go and spend some time on with your family or up on the lakes,
Mhm.
brilliant.
Mhm.
I think, and again they did reflect this in the review. I think fishing would be difficult from the boat. I think as much as we've just banged on about that beautiful like semi forward facing tower with the fiberglass hardtop, I do think that would restrict your fishing room quite severely.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
also cannot spot a rod holder across the back, which and some would say is a sin. Um, but again, they're not trying to be that. So it's tricky. We're sort of critiquing them for something that they're not supposed to be. It's like saying, "Hey, there's this brand new Lamborghini," and then us going, "Yeah, well, it doesn't go up the farm track very well."
Yeah, that's
So,
what you mean. I suppose it's
but
like if they're honest about, hey, this is for the guys that like boating and occasionally like to fish, then you'd go, understand.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
totally get
and
it.
and I think I'm sure, you could put it some rod holders in. Also, in the pipeline, I hope I can say this. He sent it to me in an email, so I'm going to say it anyway. There is a new model coming, which is a stern drive. So
Oh, cool.
think Huntsman Excalibur, which is one of our favourite boats on that we've talked about on this podcast numerous times.
Yep.
So think of that stern suddenly with a stern drive and a bit of a
So,
platform. Suddenly, I think that opens up your fishing because you could
is
put
that
a
the
bit of
130 stern drive, but a bigger version?
um, no, it's going to have the 6 litre V8 in it, I believe. 6.2 litre, 300 horsepower V8 Mercruiser. Now, if that doesn't send a tickle into your nether regions, I don't know what will.
Okay, I'll try and I'm just gonna. I'd love to
It
because
doesn't
I know.
exist yet. You can't find it.
No, because they did like a 6 meter or a 5.5 meter stern drive with a 186 CX, and they also I think they did it with a bloody diesel in it too.
The Rae Line.
Yeah, 186
Okay.
CX. That's the one. Pretty
186CX. Let's have a look at
pretty
them. Let's
sick,
have a
bro.
look at them. Again, if you're watching at home on YouTube, the pictures will be there. Or if you're listening to us, jump
Oh,
on at Unable Seaman Instagram page
did you
and we'll
know
post it there.
that they make the so the 130 SD is their super dinghy? Do you remember that?
I do. I've been in one of those. So
I didn't
my
realize they made it.
my ex-father-in-law had one of the little like catamaran dinghy things they make. I'll tell you
Fucking
what,
hell.
that thing was bloody steady.
Yeah, and they didn't have
Re-
like a 40 on the back or something stupid.
yeah, I think it had a bigger horsepower than that, but it
Jesus,
got like it was cool in the rough, and particularly as a fishing platform, being a cat, it was really steady. So yes, they do. So
that's cool. That's real cool.
the 186CX, now that is a cool boat with the stern drive. That reminds me of like again, it's very American, to put a stern drive in an 18, which
The
I'm assuming the 18 foot
what do
18
they call
stands
the
for 80
Bayliner
foot.
that's got the 3 liter petrol?
Capri, Bayliner Capri. So
Boom, it's like
a
that.
lot of them are bow riders. A lot of them
And
are
this is
bow
not a
riders.
barrel. This is a cuddy
This
kit.
is a
Yeah,
cat. But again, you can see that Sea Ray DNA with that sort of the way it sort of comes up halfway down the hull and then falls away at the transom. Really good looking boat.
beautiful.
Now
Unbelievable. Anyway,
I'm
next
going to
thing.
quickly. Well, not quite next thing, Christian Jensen.
Oh,
I know
sorry. Sorry.
you're like a bull at a gate. Now, one of my frustrations too, and again, this is how I know that this guy Reese genuinely listened to our podcast, is that often we talk about lots of boats on this podcast. Okay, oh,
Mm-hmm.
no, we let me rephrase that. We always talk about lots of boats on this podcast, but
No, it's a
often,
boating, all things boating, and
yeah, I mean, it's
anyway,
90% you talking shit, and I try and crowbar a few boats in to keep people interested. But
whatever.
the
Fuck off.
but
Carry on.
one
Stop
of our
pulling your punch.
frustration is that no manufacturers seem to release any pricing.
Yeah, it's like they're
So, like we
scared of it.
talked about the Ray Glass 3000 a while ago. Now, it
Yeah.
wasn't until a listener heard that and came at me and said, "Oh, bro, those are 400 grand."
Oh, true.
So this guy had priced one up, 400 grand for a 30-foot trailer boat is, I mean, boats are a lot of money now. So let's play a
400.
game, Christian, and I hope we're not going. I'm really hoping not to offend recent Railline boats here. But look at that picture
Yeah.
of that boat. So keeping in mind that that boat is their display boat, so it's got all the options. It's obviously taken out on a boat in New Zealand, so they're trying to display all the things they can do. It's their top spec.
Okay.
Christian Jensen,
I got
for
a
a can
number.
of Coke next time I see you,
Yeah.
what
Can I
do
have a
you
little bit
think
of rum
that
in it?
boat is reverse? Yeah,
Can it
I'll
go?
chuck a bit of rum in it. If you get it
Yeah.
right,
Okay.
what
I
do
have
you
got a
think that
range. I've
package
got a
is worth?
range with. Is it got a $20,000 range in it? Is that okay?
A $20,000 range.
Well,
I'll give you a $10,000 range.
okay. Well, I'll just go split it then. Whatever. Okay. 165 to 175. 165,000 to 175,000.
Well done. You are pretty close.
How close is pretty
Okay.
close?
So that package, as you see it, is
As
about a
that's the
hundred.
key thing. As you see it, that means it's
Yeah,
top spec. Yep.
yeah, and it is very much top spec. It's about 190 for that package
Oh,
there.
hey,
However,
do I get a
he
rum?
sent me the price list. You do get a bottle of rum for that. I'll give you, or
A bottle
a
of rum,
glass of
or
rum.
it's more.
Yes,
Oh, glass of
yeah, I'm gonna pull that back. So
oh,
they've sent me.
on the listeners on account here, they said you do get a bottle of rum, so I'm gonna go with that. I don't care if it's a cheap shit. I'll take it.
Yeah, Captain Morgan crap that he'd rather bloody
Smell the
service you outboard
spices.
with.
Just cool Beck over. Yep, get him a bottle of rum, Becky. He deserves it.
Yeah,
Champion.
yeah.
Chip. Anyway,
So the
190.
standard
Yeah.
boat,
Yep.
133 grand.
Shit. Brand
Okay,
new.
let's play a little bit of a game here. So 133 grand is the base price,
That's like
and I won't
trailer and outboard.
trailer and outboard. If you want to upgrade let's say you wanted a Mercury 250 horsepower
Fuck.
V8.
Okay.
Guess how much?
I don't know. Add another 10.
Not bad, 14,720.
Shit.
Okay, let's do two more. The forward-facing stainless arch with that cool top that I
Oh,
absolutely
that's
loved.
that's gonna be like 8 grand extra, I reckon.
Oh, well off.
Oh, is it really expensive? Is it
It's I hate to say it, it's very expensive.
that expensive? How
$17,745.
much?
17,000.
17,000.
Yep. You
Yeah,
can
well,
go a, you can go a traditional stainless steel with a rocket launcher for 6,900
okay, so that's where I was off. I thought I was thinking of a
or a wake
fancy version.
or a reborn wakeboard tower for 7 grand.
I'm showing my age because do you remember how you could get the super air wakeboard towers for like 1,500?
Yeah, yeah. No, that's a long time ago.
Oh, that inflation, and mince and cheese pies were $2 each.
Okay, and I'm going to do one more for interest's sake, just
Yeah.
because I think most of the prices are reasonably fair, but there's one here that um, I just can't get my head around. A cockpit table. So, you've got a receptacle and a piece that drops in your cockpit table. How much do you think that is?
1,500.
Oh, you overshot there. $990.
So there you go. Cool.
However, what I
So
will say is this.
you were saying you're worried. Okay, you're like, oh, I'm going to upgrade to a 250 for 14 grand or whatever. I'm going to get the $17,000 super duper rocket launcher, forward facing hard
No, it
top.
doesn't even have a rocket launcher on it,
But you
bro.
know what I mean. Anyway,
Yeah, yeah.
and you're happy to pay 17 for that, and you're like whimpering over $900 for a lovely table that you can remove when you want to
I
sit
just
down
think
and
it's a
have
lot
like
for a table.
your
How,
sandwiches. What are you going
however,
to eat
I will
on? What are you going to eat on then? What, your chili bin?
on my lap. Yeah,
Oh,
I will
you
say this.
you
U deck
fuck
flooring. U
yeah,
deck flooring. Guess how much?
grand.
Nope, zero. Standard. That is
Oh,
cool. That is cool that is standard. So I will give them that. So anyway, I
fuck.
won't bore the listeners
That's pretty
anymore
cool. That's
with that because
standard, bro.
it's sort of train spotting. But I want to say fantastic. That sorry, a big thank you to Reese from Rae Line Boats for being receptive to a couple of idiots, but also sending through that process, being honest and being open to us. That's cool. I really really appreciate that. So
So now, bro, you got a problem, right? You got this pretty cool looking boat down in Christchurch.
yeah,
Pretty cool. And then you've also got another pretty cool boat down in Christchurch, which is basically on the same road. I think they're like 200 meters apart. CSB, like literally down the road around the corner.
Huntsman
Also
Boats.
making,
Yeah,
yeah, Huntsman boats, CSB boats, just around the corner. That sounds like a road trip to Christchurch. It really
it
does.
it does. I have someone in Christchurch that wants to punch me at the moment, so I'm not going to go there for a little bit. I'm not going to go and that will come back to my customer service rant at the end.
Is this? Oh, okay.
It
So is
involves it involves a windscreen on a Huntsman boat.
okay. Ouch.
Well,
Mm.
but that's a little teaser for you.
Oh,
Anyway,
okay.
we've just talked up how fantastically made New Zealand boats are,
Mhm.
but the review process from Boating New Zealand is a little bit boring. Like, that guy went on and sucked
Yeah.
the life out of it. Let's do an absolute 180 and head over to Australia,
Okay.
where yes, go
I want to take the lead here, and I want to
go
say, let's go and talk about what they do really well, which is
boat
boat
reviews.
reviews. And who do we
Yes.
like over there that does awesome boat reviews?
Oh, the captain,
Boom.
the
Beautiful.
captain.
And I
Yeah.
sent you a video on Messenger, and I said, bro, check this out. They've just put this random video up. It has no real sense to it other than it's just a cool video. They take a boat out, they talk about it, it's some like rib or inflatable that looks sort of James Bondy. They have a James Bond sort of theme. They've got this lady on the boat, scantily dressed from memory, and they nickname her Foxy Fakara or something. And they say they are going to be the boat police on the harbour. And if we, I love this, if we see you in a windjammer or an Axopar, we're going to give you a fine. But if we see you in something cool, we're going to give you a beer. And they go around and they just like bag people and then cheer them on when they say, "You got a sick boat, come over here, here's a beer."
And I saw this. Christian sent me this video, and I was entertained, but B, I want to sue them for copyright. We do Dog of the Month on this podcast. They were essentially doing a live version of Dog of the Month. So what we're going to do is we're going to absolutely steal their idea.
What are we going to do?
This summer, we're going to drive around the Bay of Islands or Auckland or wherever
Yep.
with They had those really nice Peroni beers. I'm not taking those. If I'm giving out beer, I'm going to make it like
Double
Tui or
brown.
Double Brown or something I don't like. But
Export gold.
let's reward people who buy good boats, and I'll let the bung out of some of those shitters out there.
I loved how he ripped Exaparse. I was like, ooh.
Oh, they are. They're so ugly. Oh, that
But
wave
that,
passing design. Who wants to go through a wave? No
yeah,
one.
yeah. I don't want to go out if it's that shit, eh? I'd
Yeah,
rather be at the pub.
I want to go over it. I want to go through it. It's not a submarine.
And then the sailors, I love he's like, oh, if you got a sail, we're going to tear you a new one.
Yeah.
I thought this
So,
guy's Jake down to a T. He's an asshole.
yeah. Thanks, mate. So anyway, bringing it back in for a minute. So the boat the captain was reviewing. So again, fantastic review was the Edencraft 255. And I'm going to start by saying this is one of the ugliest hardtops I've ever seen. What Edencraft have done. So Edencraft are a pretty well-known brand in Australia, and they build a fantastic hull. I will give them that. However, it's a little bit like the Porsche 911. They built a hull a long time ago and have just stuck bits on it and kept developing new models. They've added a meter, they've taken a meter out, they've put a hardtop on, they've done this, and you actually can't see any sort of evolution in the shape. Which I'm not going to critique them for that. Whatever, they've found a winning formula. I am going to critique them for
Oh,
the
hold
Bunnings
there, hold
garden
there.
shed that they're calling a hardtop.
Hold up, hold up. Okay, you're dissing the hard top, but you just said something there which was quite interesting. A winning formula. So Edencraft, I understand, bought the mold from Formula Boats, which designed these great hulls back in 90s, say, right? And they're pretty sick hulls. And they're still good by today's standard. Their recipe was deep V, moderate running strakes, blah, blah, blah. Massive horsepower, long waterline length. Cool. And they've gone 1990s, that's good enough to run in 2024. Chuck a new lid on it, call it brand new. And I understand it's the Aussie formula. Take these cool hulls, the Haynes hulls, for example. I understand they're still used today. What's the other one called? Coodercraft. They've been using their same hulls for like 20 years, 30 years. Crazy.
I, I, I'm just flabbergasted. Christian Jensen, you've done some research. You've actually come to this podcast with a little bit of knowledge, some facts.
Fuck off.
We've been doing this podcast since like COVID 2020, and most of the time you've brought meaningless, almost unlistenable shit. And here you are coming in with, you're bang on. That's exactly what they've done, and you're so right about the lack of evolution. Now they would argue that why change a winning formula? Well,
Yeah.
why aren't we still making things from the bloody 80s? Of course we're
Well,
not. We've moved
why?
on.
Yeah, why aren't steam trains still around other than for,
Yeah.
archaeological relics? Um, I I do have to admit though, I have a little bit of a soft spot for those Aussie boats, a little bit, because I love how the classic review from the captain is they take this Aussie boat with a humongous pony on the back. Normally, it's been done up by someone. Sometimes it's a brand new boat, and they just
Yeah.
send it over a wave and just see how airborne they can get. Like, it's proper sick. Kudos to you. And I do like the very commercial styling on some of those boats. Like I know you won't like them, but in terms of like a boat, they're like a fishing boat where they've got no windscreen, it's just fiberglass with that one little lip there to hold on. Oh shit, when you go over waves. And then they do that little gel coat splatter effect on the inside, so you got like little brown speckles or blue
Yeah,
speckles.
that's so yuck. We've moved on from that.
I'm just giving you some tantalizing tidbits to chew into, okay, Jake? So I hand it over to you, my friend.
Okay, well, here's whether you like the boat or don't like the boat. Here's the bit that no matter who you are, you can't get over. So the captain does this review on the boat, and at the end, they're giving some feedback. So first of all, the captain does a really good thing with all their reviews. They don't go there and say we think this, we think that. They get the owner to talk about the boat, which
Yeah,
I think is such a refreshing thing. No one's more honest in their boat than an owner. Don't get the guy who made it. He's not going to chat shit about his boat. Don't don't get some reviewer who's been on it for 10 minutes and's trying to make a judgment on it on a flat day somewhere. An owner will tell you more about that boat The little thing, and I get there. There's sometimes going to be a little bit of protection, protect their own sort of asset, I suppose, too. But at least you're getting the story. That's what makes it interesting. Now, this Edencraft, the 255 hardtop, which we're talking about, they built this boat. So they had this hull and they've put a hardtop on, and they were talking about all the features. And don't get me wrong, they've got a nice dash with all their electronics across. But at the end, they did a reflection. They were talking about some things they weren't so happy about. Keeping in mind this has twin V10s on it too. And
Yeah,
they said, "Oh, it's a bit top heavy." I replayed the video. I went, "What?" So they've built this boat. This is a customer boat that's gone into production, and their feedback is that it's a bit top heavy. And Edencraft have acknowledged this and are trying to strip weight out of the hard top. They're going to look at maybe different engine setups. And I just thought you would never see a New Zealand boat go to the market with this. They'd hydrostatic test it. They'd be doing all this for a boat reviewer and an owner to go, oh fuck, it wobbles over a bit. I, I just that's dangerous. And I saw that in one of the scenes they reach over to grab a fish over the side,
yeah.
and the bloody thing rolls right over.
It's that 20 something degree V as well in it, eh? Like I think it's like 23-degree V. It's pretty. It is a deep V. It is a very
But
deep V.
am I being nasty or over the top here in the sense that like
Oh, 24
we
degree V.
w-
Um, no, no. We in New Zealand, the boat designers spend a hell of a lot of time, especially the ones we've spoken to, about getting that balance because it's always a compromise in terms of you can have a stable boat if it's got a flat bottom.
mm,
Cool, you can do that, but then its ride quality is shit as soon as it gets a little bit rough, and so they're trying
yeah.
to get that balance of ride and stability. Um, and these guys appear to have just taken an old 90s hull, which performs in a straight line. It effectively was built as a race boat or a really fast ocean going fishing boat, like a heading out deep drop sort of fishing boat in Oz, and then just progressively whacked more and more stuff on it and not taken any care to consider what are the consequences of that, which are a really tippy boat, a lot of
Mm,
weight up top, which is in the wrong place. And you're right, like you look at that hard top, it looks like a lot of fiberglass up top. And I remember watching the review and the ladies talking quite proudly about how tall the
yeah.
what do you call it, the height of
Yeah, the
the
interior space. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and you go, cool, sweet, we've got lots of room. And I'm just thinking, shit, you've just put a lot of fiberglass really high. You've got big, big radar, rotating radar dome really high, big speakers really high. I'm just going, fuck, that's heavy.
But we
Um,
do it here. We have hard tops you can stand up in. What? Why are the Australians so far behind? Because they are as passionate boaties as we are.
I don't think you'll see a 24-degree V in a fairly narrow beam like that with a hard top in New Zealand. I
Good
honestly don't.
point. Good
I don't
point.
even think the Haynes would have a 24-degree V, or if they did, they'd have. These guys don't look like they've got like you know how the chines as they go towards the back of the boat progressively get wider and
Yeah,
then sometimes downturn. I don't even think
yeah,
these guys have reverse chines at all. So that's another thing. That's where you can
yeah,
get some stability.
yeah,
Um, I don't know. It's
yeah. Well,
the other thing I look at, bro, is you look at the photos. It says modern styling, a modern top deck design mated with a classic hull, blah 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 blah. You look at it,
modern styling
I know. Get this. I look at that and I go, that looks like I'm going in to see the fucking dentist. There's 3 laptop screens there and 2 dentist chairs.
and a big flat screen. Do you know what it looks like? Do you remember that really a car could Google this at home? I'm not going to put this up, but no, I will put this on YouTube. Do you know the Fiat Multipla?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
if
yeah.
if you if you if you've got a chance to Google that, or I'll put it on the screen for YouTube viewers, the Fiat Multipla, big fat windscreen, ugly as hell, looked like it had some sort of growth across the front. That's what that boat looks like. That's what I get. You look at boats and sometimes you can see like facial features, or you can see like, I mean, you look at that Rae Line we are talking about a minute ago, and you could see the American DNA of that sort of like shear line that sort of comes up in the middle and drops away, or sort of aggressiveness to it. Some boats look like they're going fast when they're stopped. You look at this thing; it just looks undesigned,
Yeah, flat screen at the front, eh?
homemade.
Do you remember I sent you that boat and it had a hardtop that was homemade and it was like a big flat screen like that?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
if someone makes that in their shed in the Manawatu, fine. But
And
if
they
this
want
is a
like,
production boat,
I think they want like 300,000 for this.
I think more with those V10s on it.
Yeah.
Again, we don't have pricing. We sound like broken records. We don't have pricing. Anyway, moving along because that's enough of sinking the Australian boat building industry. Christian Jensen, you told me you had a boat that you were going to share, and it's look again. Once again, I'm absolutely flabbergasted. You brought some content. This is great. So what have we got?
you feel, you fuck, you're an asshole, but I love you. You're an asshole. So I've been looking at a boat. Okay, so you know how we like the idea of blue water cruising, and we go, what would you get? Well, you'd get a catamaran, like sail on a vagabond or whatever, and sail around the world.
Yeah.
And I go, that'd be nice. And then I thought, well, what about blue water cruising, but without the sail, but you still want the catamaran? And I thought, I think I've found it. I put it past Chelsea, and she said, the big meow meow. But I wanted to ask you. Here we go. The iLad 53 Sport catamaran cruiser. So no sail, no sail. Looks sort of like a.
So it's a sailing cat with no mast.
That's probably the best way to describe it. Oh, there's an Exapar review on this magazine just for you. The luxury version.
So so I've just pumped some bit of air in your tires, saying, look, Christian, you brought some content, fantastic, and you've picked a sailing cat but
Yep.
forgotten the sails. Like,
Okay.
why would I buy this boat? Because you've just held up a picture, and again, if you watch it on YouTube or at Unable Seaman on Instagram, okay,
What?
give me some headline stats because I am not seeing that. I
Okay. Do you want? Okay.
we
This is
talked about we talked a few podcasts ago about the Volta cat or Vlada cat or however you
that
say.
was
I can't
cool.
remember
Yeah, the Putin cat,
that was
Vladimir cat.
seriously cool. Made down in Tauranga, very cool with the foil
Did
between
like
the
60 knots or something stupid,
yeah
like
again
twin jet turbine sort of speed. Yeah, it was real
yeah
cool.
yeah. So why
Um,
would I buy this?
a legend reborn.
Here we go.
Uh, okay, here we go. Price as reviewed. Would you like a? This is for a 53-foot iLad.
Okay, 4.5 mil.
Pretty damn close. Yep. Yep.
What
Three
was
and
it?
a
What?
half mil.
Oh,
It is 16 meters long. It's got a beam of 7.5 meters, so she's pretty big. Draft of 1.25 meters. Twin Yanmar 440 horsepower shaft drives, protected by a keel, which is pretty cool, like a small keel. It's got a range of 1,750 nautical miles
so
at 8 knots.
put that in perspective. If I left from Opua, where can I go?
Tonga,
On a
I
tank of
think.
gas.
I'm pretty sure. Let's just type in OPUA to Tonga. This is
Okay.
how I practice my blue water cruising.
But so, but where's the point of difference? So like the Volta cat that we've talked about, or some other cats on the market, they're high speed. They're designed to be power cats. What you've showed me,
hmm
and again maybe I'm being unfair, looks like a catamaran with no mast. So what?
Or maybe you don't. You're not interested in sailing. You just want to cruise around. So it can do it. Does a range of 1,750 nautical miles. It's 1,200 nautical miles to Tonga from Opua, by the way, at 8 knots, and then it'll go all the way to 20 knots if you wanted, and you still get like 400 nautical miles,
Okay, so it's a 20 knot top speed.
which is pretty cool. Cruises at 18, no
Where are they?
dramas.
Where are they made?
It's fuck if I know.
All that preparation you had 5 minutes ago has gone out the
No, I was
window.
just reading this article and I was like, you know what? That's kind of cool. It's got heaps of room inside. It's like an apartment. You go
Yeah.
away on holiday, you cruise around. I don't have to worry about pulling up sails. I'm not. Imagine if I was not a sailor. I'd be like, I don't fucking want to sail. I just want to
Oh,
go. Boom.
okay. So is it an all rounder?
In terms of a
Can you
cruising all rounder.
can you fish off it?
Yeah. Oh hell yeah. Have you seen the size of this thing with the huge deck on the back and all that? Easy.
Okay.
Massive.
Again, for our
And
listeners,
entertainer, easy. Big sun deck on the front for the ladies, awesome. Huge
no, no,
interior
no,
space.
no, 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 no. I'm stopping you right there. I hate I hate it when boat reviewers say, "Oh, somewhere for the ladies to lie." Men lie down too. Men sunbathe. It's like they go, "Oh, and a toilet for the ladies." Have you never taken a shit on a boat?
Okay, Jake. All I'm saying is that would be appreciated by our feminine friends, right? And you too.
You,
Okay,
you,
Jake.
you sensitive
Anyway,
pig.
come back a step. Come back a step. Picture you're in the Bay of Islands. Beautiful, beautiful late summer, March, right? And you're like, I just want to go out for a tiki tour. Jump in this here, put the family in, and just head out. Don't worry about the sails. Don't worry about that. You can go under those bloody bridges because they haven't got a mast. No dramas. Get to where you want to go. Turn the motor off. Anchor's already down. Chill out. Don't pull sails down. All good.
Okay, so hang on, just 1.3 million.
No, 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 no. 3.4 million.
Okay, sorry, 3.4 million.
Yep.
3.4 million. What's the length?
Like 16 meters. Massive. You should see the size of our
Why wouldn't I
fishing deck.
buy a Riviera sedan?
Because this is like way more beam. And a Riviera sedan. You're talking about this one, eh? This big bastard here.
Well, that's a Flybridge one, but yeah, that sort of thing.
How much is that, bro?
Well, the sedan, I mean, a 40-foot sedan might be like, I don't know, probably the same money.
Yeah, but a 40-foot sedan won't have nearly as much room as this one.
Okay, fair enough.
Because
You've
because
got
you got
that.
the cat, so it's got the beam and all that sort of shit. It's
Yeah,
also got the stability, so you don't even need to have a gyro in it or whatever.
yeah.
They are heaps more efficient. If you've spent 3.4 million, not worried about a bit of diesel, but do you know what I mean? You would take that boat to Tonga, whereas you probably wouldn't take a riv to Tonga, a 40-foot riv.
No, good point. I will give you that.
You know,
Okay,
like
bro. No, look, you've sold me.
like I'm not saying I'm going to get it, but I just saw it and thought it reminded me a little bit of that Hurley cat. Do you remember that E-cat that they made?
Yes, I do. Yeah, that was a cool boat.
Yeah, and I just sort of saw that was a little more like an elegant version at 3 times the price.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at
Be-
three times the
Beachable
price, it
hull.
feature
I don't know.
okay.
I don't know. I just if you weren't a sailor, would you go for it? Possibly. Me, I don't know, man. I think I'd rather have a catamaran sailboat. There's
I just
something
think
about
at $3 million or what was it,
3.4, heaps of money.
3.4,
Yep.
there is some seriously cool boats out there. I mean,
Yeah, but we're talking about brand new boats. Like that's brand
yeah,
new boat money.
yeah.
Here we go. Maritimo M70, sole
No, that would
agency.
be double. That would be double.
Okay.
Easily double that.
S70. What can I compare to? What are you
No,
letting me
not.
compare to?
The Maritimo, like they do like a Sport 45, I think it is.
Okay, I'll have to find it. I'll have to find it. I am. Well, what is a Lagoon 420?
That's a sailing.
595,000. That's a
It's a sailing
oh,
cat.
there's a sailing cat. I'm just saying comparing to it, but it's
Yeah.
2009. I can't find I can't find a Maritimo. And would you speak of the devil? What's that right there? The Hurley E
Early
cat.
cat. Yeah. I mean,
Million bucks.
I wouldn't have that either because that's just an engine. That's them showing what they can do with electric power. Apart from that, there's not a lot that gets me
Oh,
excited about that,
look
to
at
be
this
honest.
here. Ownership, 1/4 share of Ameritimo 55, POA.
Okay, that's just a bit of a segue
Okay,
before we
take
move
me
on to our
away.
next topic. What what do you think of boat shared ownership?
No.
Why not?
Like I know. Okay, maybe it's okay if you're a rich fella that knew nothing about boats, and I'm picturing here. So we'll make some assumptions. Set the parameters. Uh, Basically new boats
Yep,
that you buy a quarter share, a half share, a sixth share, or whatever, a 12th share in from a company that manages it. So they've got a portfolio of boats,
yep.
and you're allocated a certain number of days a year. Now, say you don't know anything about boats, and they say, "Yep, if you want to be a part of the scheme, you go on this boat handling course with our friend in Auckland,
And Andrew Flanagan. Yep,
Flanagan. Thank you very much for teaching me, all this sort of stuff." You get the thing, and you go out with your family, you use it, blah blah blah, put it down, put it away. They take it away and clean it. Suits you just fine. When shit goes wrong, you just pay your credit card and it gets fixed. Suits those
yeah,
people just fine. I suppose in that situation when you got money pouring out of your bum, yeah, cool. But for me and us, we're going to be in that lower bracket, of second-hand boat ownership, third, fourth hand, and boats have problems. And if you go then try and do boat share with someone on a second-hand boat, especially if it's using the saltwater heaps, and you both don't have the same level of understanding of boats, care, ownership, cleaning, and all that, it's going to cause grief, eh?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. That would be my anti thing is that so there's two things for me. One, you mentioned about like allocations.
Mm,
I think, if you get a nice day, there's nothing better than looking out the window going, shit, it's a nice day, let's go. Whether it's hooking up to a trailer and going or going down to the marina and going. Having
mm,
to book a day and finding someone else has it, that would disappoint me. And
yep,
I'd rather have a cheaper boat that I could always take out as opposed to having 100 grand tied up in something that I can use however many days of the year. Also, I agree with you. Unless they're through one of those companies like ownership and stuff, who do a fantastic job of taking all the hassles out of it, cleaning, all the rest of it, I'd get pissed off too because we all have our quirks of how we look after a boat.
yep,
There's particular things on my boat, the Ray Glass, that I really care about, and there's things that I am happy to let slide because I know I'll get to those or whatever.
yep.
And I think unless you were with someone who understood that, like I think you and I could own a boat together.
And we've talked about it. If we
We've
lived in the
talked
same
about it.
city,
If we live,
we were even going to put like 5 grand away together, and we were going to test the theory of compounding interest, weren't we? In the share market. This is
have you
like,
not done that?
well, I've done it. Did you do it?
Yeah, I've already bought the dicky.
No, fuck off, you have.
We were going to put 5 grand in the share market. This was like 2018 or something.
Nah,
Yeah.
earlier than that, bro. Like 20, maybe even 2014. I'd just gone to
Okay.
uni, remember? And we were
Okay.
talking about it at Annie and Marks and Picton.
And we had worked out that if we'd put 5 grand each in the
Yep.
NZX 50, that's 10 grand obviously, and by the
By the
time
time we
we
were
were
six,
60, I think it
yeah,
was,
something 60, 65.
we'd have enough for a Dicky 45, which is like one of our dream boats.
Correct.
Um, we neither of us have put the money in, and to be honest, the economy's been a bit of a rocky boat since then.
So maybe
I
not.
do, well, I do want to talk to you off air about some investments too. Remind me about that.
Oh, okay. Tell you, don't want to bore the
Yeah,
listeners, but if you want to learn about investments, we've got a separate podcast called Investments with Christian,
yeah.
who knows fuck all. I'm surprised you want
I'll give
information
you
from me, bro.
I'll give you a clue. None of them are boats.
Oh, okay.
Which brings me on to our final topic, absolutely counter to that, which is our ultimate do-ups. And it's not our final topic. I've got my whinge, sorry. But our ultimate do-ups. Now, I'm going to dive right in here because I have found a boat.
Oh god, can you share
And
screen or something? Or
I've already shared it to you, Christian Jensen, but I
oh,
will
I've
do it
been
again.
saved. No, 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 it's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
Is it on the messenger thing? You and me.
Yep. And I'm going to send it to you now. And while I'm doing this, think of this. Think of big, long bow. Think American. Think,
America,
and to
the
quote
great
Christian 10 minutes ago, think ladies on the front.
ladies. So I'm picturing the haul over inlet.
All over inlet. Okay. So,
Okay,
40 foot.
come
The
back a
boat.
step, Jake. Come back a step. Who used to have a boat similar to this here in the Bay of Islands, and he was a bit of a legend in our eyes. Wore leopard skin undies, and he only knew how to drive his boat hammer down.
Yeah. So we used to know this guy, Christian and I, who had a Campion 910 with twin V8s. I think they put out 350, like basically 350 Chev engines in it. And
Yeah,
he
great.
drove, he got around on these speedos, and he just went everywhere at about 100 kilometers an hour, even through like 5 knot zones. But the boat I'm talking about here,
This is sick, bro.
Fast Lane 40. Okay, 1990 Fast Lane 40. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see it. Or if there's one thing I can ask you, go to our Instagram
Holy
at
shit.
Unable Seaman and check out this boat because it is seriously cool. Twin Mercruiser 454 big blocks, 330 horsepower each.
Have you
Okay,
seen it's got an old TV, like a retro TV
so,
in it?
so 40 foot twin engines. You'd think, oh man, this is a big boat, big long American, sexy as hell. $25,000.
Does it
Twenty-five
go?
thousand dollars.
No trailer.
It,
Selling on behalf of my father. Two Mercuries, 454 big blocks. 440 cubic inch is like 7 liters. This
Yep.
is bigger than 7 litres. 330 horsepower each, so they're not even working.
Yeah.
330 horsepower is not that much for a big blocklet. Petrol, has a generator, toilet, shower, microwave, TV. I love the TV. It's one of those old black and white TVs, basically. Interior roof lining has started to fall off. That's fine. No,
No,
boat
but
does not. The boat has been out of the water for 3 years. Boat is in tidy condition, but needs some minor TLC. And look at this porno leather
I
interior.
know, I know. It's the color of like your girlfriend's fingernails. They're beautiful, like a faded pink.
I think they call that pastel.
Pastel. Is it a pastel? Is it? So
Pastel.
some of the headlining is definitely missing, which would need to be replaced.
How cool is
The
that steering dash? That's
That
epic.
dash is just straight out of like
Uh,
Miami Vice.
yeah.
It is.
Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun, dun-dun, dun-dun,
It
dun-dun,
has
dun-dun.
a million buttons that mean nothing, gauges that read all sorts of information. But imagine that, bro. For $25,000, you could probably offer the guy 20 grand. How
You,
much do you think, though, that would be to bring up to a cool spec?
oh shit. 100 grand.
Do you reckon it's 100? Like, let's assume the engines are okay. It does not say the engines don't go, but
They'd
you'd
need a
still need to
rebuild.
do work. You
They'd
think
need
it's
a
a
rebuild.
rebuild?
Yeah, I think it's a rebuild job. Well, you just think about it. You've got 3 years of not being used and all that corrosion in the exhaust manifolds and water cooling system. Assuming that it's raw water cooled, right?
Yeah,
It might not be, but a 454 is probably raw water cooled.
yeah,
It's a stern leg, two of them.
yeah,
Probably needs a rebuild in the stern leg. So there's like 10 grand each stern leg. Each engine for rebuild is like 15. But maybe it doesn't need a rebuild for the first season, but it might need a rebuild in the second or third season. Your canvas probably needs replacement all around. There's
yeah,
another 20 grand. The lining and stuff, you'll do that for cheap as chips.
yeah,
No dramas. But let's just say that the upholstery outside is probably a bit tired. A cut and
yeah.
polish, leave that name on. That name is epic. Fast Lane 40. That's
Oh, I love it.
um.
But
You,
do
you
you
could
think
you could easily spend 100 on it, but okay, let's just say you get away lucky with 40 grand.
so? That makes it. Let's
Bare
say you get it for
essentials.
20. So you go and you lowball the guy for 20. So you got a 60 grand in the hole,
Yep.
and you've got a 40-foot boat straight out of Miami Vice. All it needs is the G-string clad girls, and you are
Yep.
living the dream.
And the cocaine. What I love is that you'd never sleep in the bow there while you're moving.
Oh
It just
shit, no! You get
you
thrown around like no one's business.
and I love how there's this anchor winch right at the front, which is handy because you got to walk like 35 feet away to get to the anchor.
Oh, that's right. It's 40 foot, yet all of the boat, like 35 foot,
His
is
snout.
a snout. There's just this little pot on the back, which is where
Uh,
you do
It's
everything.
it's definitely I like this is a guilty
It's
pleasure
a
and
guilty pleasure. I mean, and we mocked the Rae Line before for like not having much fishermen. This thing, you wouldn't even take a run. You'd sell your fishing gear.
I don't even think it's got this. There's a picture of this kid standing in the back, and his shins are barely above the side rails. Right,
Yeah,
I'm guessing he's standing on the engine boxes. So,
yeah.
like, I
Oh,
don't know where the fuck you'd fish from.
again, you lie across the back. That's for sunbathing, or as you would sexistly say, that's where the woman would sunbathe across the back.
That's what I would sexistly say. I'm just saying, bro, how it is. Don't be so sensitive. Gosh, Jake, you've come a long way, haven't you? Here, you'd suit Wellington down to a dime.
So that's my ultimate do up. I think if I had some cojones and some money I didn't know what to do with, that would be a sick boat. Now,
Epic.
I did give you a heads up on this, and hoping that you're going to bring something to the table. I mean,
Oh,
you've impressed me tonight with your preparedness.
so I've got a heap of boats saved on my trade me, because I'm a perpetual watcher of trade me, and I go, oh, that's cool, and oh, that'd be mean. I pick that up, um, and I'm just flicking down because I was like, oh, what would I point out to you? There's there's oh, I just know if I say this, you're gonna be like, meh, windjammer, meh, loser. So
Oh,
I'm a
so
bit
it's a yacht. So straight away, cancel that.
there is one yacht, and I do really like it. And basically, it's been around the world 3 times with their family of 6, and they went from like Panama across to French New Caledonia, then Tonga, into that big jump to Australia, around the top of Australia through Crocodile Country, and around 3 times. How
I could,
epic is that?
no, I can already tell this is going to be ugly by the way you've described it. But anyway, chuck it
Okay,
in the chat.
okay,
Let me have
I'll
a
put it.
look.
I'll put it in the chat.
Why a
Give.
yacht?
It's just because that's what I've been looking at lately. Like I, I've looked at other boats and gone, that'd be pretty cool. Little runabouts and stuff like that. I've done up that Radicat thing and helped you do up your bayliner. And I do have to admit, doing up a bayliner to original spec would be pretty cool. You can imagine that, eh?
Yeah, yeah.
And like,
Well, you'd
imagine,
actually
okay,
build it properly. Yeah,
but imagine doing it, putting on a cool outboard on the back, like I don't know, a nice V8 Merc or something, but then doing the livery of the Force on it. So take off all the
yeah.
Mercury badges and put on the original livery, and that how it
That'd be
was.
cool. Yeah,
Was it like a greeny blue, like an eggshell blue color,
yeah, yeah.
then darker blue? Imagine putting that and then Force 125 across the back.
Oh, bro. Oh, you're making me. You're going to bring a tear to my eye.
Like
I miss that
how
engine.
cool. How cool would that be? And then you start it up and you go, oh, that's a 200 V8
Yeah,
Merc. But it
but
would
no one
look
else needs
so
to know that.
sick.
You'd actually give
No, no.
Force a good name.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I wasn't going to say what happens when you open the open the cowling up. Oh shit! There's two little boys there, fucking pedaling away.
Well, for those that don't know, who may not have heard the story while Christian sends his boat through,
Oh yeah, I'll find
that
it.
I repowered my Bayliner, so it did have a 125 Force, which was essentially a Chrysler engine, but notoriously unreliable, notoriously shit, and very corrosion prone. And I repowered it with a Johnson 150. If you want to go to our YouTube channel at Unable Seaman, you can see the Bayliner there. But when they repowered it, they actually
Fuck.
didn't even bother unbolting the engine. What they did is they hooked their little like fork hoist thing up to it and just gave it a shake, and the outboard fell off. Now, keep it in mind, a week earlier, I'd been like round the Coromandel fishing and going through a bloody 15-knot chop and, banging it around the place. So to see this, like, essentially bumped and the fucking outboard falling off did not fill me with a lot of confidence and absolutely reassured me that I was doing the right thing by repowering it.
I just love that. I was like, and that is how I got out of this. I'm just trying to find this boat because it was pretty epic, eh? And I thought, fuck, that'd be so cool. And I thought, man, that's actually a whole lot cheaper than it should be. It might
Well,
have already sold.
you've
Oh, here it
actually
is. Here it
you've
is.
actually saved us, Christian, because this month I actually haven't been organised and got a dog of the month.
Oh, so
But
you're
I
going to use this as the dog of the month?
but I think you're about to kill two birds with one stone here. The anticipation is killing me.
Okay, here we
But
go.
I,
Here
I
we go.
just I just think you've covered a couple of bases, which I don't know
You're an
if you've.
asshole. No, I just want
Okay.
to sing that. I want to get out my guitar, my ukulele or something, and go, "Jing, he's an asshole, an asshole. Hey yo, hey yo, hey yo,
Oh,
hey yo."
bro, hang on. No, I take this. Hang on, 319,000. This is an ultimate do-up. Roger Hill 50 Pilot House Cutter, 50 foot. This is a nice boat. This is a really nice boat.
It'd need a refit though if we're going to go around the world in it.
It does not need a refit. Beautiful teak.
Look at the living quarters at the front. Oh, that.
They're
Okay, that's.
stunning. This is a stunning boat. Again, listeners at home, YouTube, at Unable Seaman, you know where to go. This is a stunning. I mean, it's $350,000. And what?
I think that's a bargain because I'm looking at other ones going 500k. I reckon that's 200k short of what it needs to be.
That is a very nice boat, bro.
Do you know? Do you know what? This is actually crazy. We've gone from Jake absolutely ripping me to all of a sudden he's like mouth drop, looking at it, going, "Oh, Becky and I could be on that." Is what he's thinking. That'd be pretty cool to travel around the world on. Again, master bedroom.
This is
Look at that, Jake. That is just stunning.
this is this is a seriously nice boat. Beautiful teak. So think mini super yacht maybe. Beautiful teak lines, nice layout, sort of quite a traditional looking yacht. So a pilot house cutter. I'm assuming that's referring to the
Steering wheel
like
inside as well as outside,
yeah,
so you
like a
can
yeah, okay.
be like inside chilling. I don't know, out of the weather if it's a shit day, traveling across to Tonga, and then you can also be outside if you want to be, um, you know,
Yeah.
as you would sailing a boat as you would normally or traditionally.
definitely an offshore sailor in the sense that like your connection with like the waterline at the back for swimming and that sort of thing is I suppose a little prohibited, but still has room
You'd
across the back. But you want that when you're across the ocean. You don't want some low thing across the back that water's going to flood into.
pretty cool, eh? You can see why I like it. I'm like,
But
get
this
there.
isn't our ultimate do up. I'm going to call you out
Well,
here. This is not.
you gave me a day to like warning, and I was like, this was already on my watch list, and I was like, oh, I really
This
like
is
it.
$319,000, and it's a nice boat. Like, what are you going to do up?
What am I gonna do up?
Yeah.
I'm gonna do up my laces and go sailing.
Exactly. Exactly.
Put on those sailing
Yeah,
shoes.
that's an absolute shocker from you.
Did you like
Right.
that dead joke?
I am going to finish up with a bit of a whinge for two companies that are absolutely dear to my heart.
Oh,
I'm going to
two
start I'm going to start with my beloved Rae Glass. Now,
dead.
no, my beloved Rae Glass, not dead, not
No,
dead.
but is the company dead in your heart, Ray Glass?
A little bit.
Oh,
They're
fuck.
dead to me. So for those that don't know, I've got a Rae Glass 650, 1998. It's a stern drive version. I love it to bits. Fantastic boat. Love getting out on it. Rae Glass, you're breathing into your mic, bro. Do you mind pulling your mic down a little bit?
Oh, damn.
Up,
Sorry.
down.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
cool.
Yep.
That's all good.
Sorry. Yeah.
Um, Rae Glass did a post, maybe about 3 or 4 weeks ago, of a 2150. It's the same thing, 650, 2150, same thing. That they brought into the factory and done like a refurb over.
Mhm. Mhm.
New canopies, new stickers, C-deck flooring, and everything. I thought, shit hot, I've been thinking about doing C-deck flooring. So I phoned them. So keep it in mind, they've done this all over their Facebook page, all over Instagram, did a real push. Look, because they've got this part of their business now where you can bring your old Rae Glass in and they bring it up to life.
Yep.
So they've just done this. They've spent a whole lot of money on their marketing, getting everything sorted. So I
Yep.
rang up and say, hey mate, how much for the C-deck flooring? So one, he doesn't know the price.
What?
Doesn't know the price. Okay, so whatever.
Okay.
Not everyone
Sweet.
knows this stuff off the top of their head. You'd think if you've done a big push marketing wise, you'd
I probably
expect
would.
some phone calls about that, and you'd maybe have a meeting going, "Hey, look, we've just done this push on this." Like if I was the marketing manager, I'd be saying, "I've just done this push on this stuff. Here's what you need to know. We're going to hopefully get some phone calls about this. Like, you know,
Yep. Be
lead
cool.
guide them through the process, make them feel welcome." So I got to, oh look, don't know, mate. Sorry, I'll get back to you. Do you think they
Cricket.
got back to me, Christian Jensen?
It sounds like you heard crickets. It sounds like you were left at the pub on a first date and you never got to the first date.
I never got I never got the reach round.
No.
But I mean, it just astounds me that a company like, do you know what it felt to me? So we talked about Sea Ray earlier with Rae Line boats. So for those that don't know, Rae Glass are owned by that same company, Brunswick. They own
Yep.
Bayliner, Sea Ray, Mercury, you name it, they own it.
Yep.
And Rae Glass own it. So they are a big company. They've just opened a new factory, by the way. Middle of a recession, they've opened a new factory in Auckland because
Mhm.
they're making lots of it. And good on them, fantastic. I love seeing a like Kiwi started business. But to do a social media push
Mhm.
and to do this and to push a product and then to not even be able to ring a guy back to say this is how much the C deck is,
Yep.
it just pissed me off, man. Like it does not make me feel valued as a Rae Glass customer. It really gets under my skin, that sort of thing.
It sort of sounds like owned by a big company now. Employees are just employees and probably made to feel that way, and so they don't feel the urgency to call back someone like you.
That's it. But like it's still money. Like
Yeah,
there's
but
been a
it's
marketing budget that's been spent on pushing this content and obviously doing the job and all the time and effort, and to not even ring a guy back. Like I was prepared to do it. Like I've got some money set aside. One thing I really want to do with my boat is put C-deck floor in it. I think it looks so cool. Or that
mm.
that sort of product, whatever. I don't know if it's C-deck, U-deck, whatever they use, but to not ring me back, like here I am again. I'm a nobody. You and I talk shit for an hour once every 6 months on a podcast. It doesn't matter who you are. Like ring your customers back and
Yeah, bro. That's a bit shit, eh? Especially like middle of recession, let's look after our existing customers. But that's what I mean. It feels like the employees are probably treated like employees and that they're not wanting to take that ownership and do that.
Yeah,
Like I saw that with my old company that I worked at, and when it went on the share market, it went downhill.
yeah. Just it changes the game.
It changes the game. Now,
It,
anyway,
it's sad.
that is quite sad, and I hear your pain, but I also am interested in a bit your next rant too.
Okay,
So
so
you
moving
teased me
on
with this for a while, right? And
yeah,
I know the
Christian knows a little
background,
bit.
and I want to just hear how you're going to frame this rant for our podcast because this is quite
Well,
interesting here.
I have to be a little bit careful, but
I
it
hand
breaks my
the
heart actually
I
because
hand the talking stick to Jake here.
for those that don't know, so I own a Ray Glass. My parents own a Huntsman. So they own a Huntsman Centurion, which is their latest model. Before that, they owned a Huntsman Series 6000. So Huntsman is very much in our DNA.
Yep. And before that, they owned
A Bayliner, which they gave to me.
beautiful banner, wasn't it?
And do you know what? That's a good point for bringing the Bayliner up. That'll come back into the story in a minute. The We went out together. So I was on the Ray Glass, they were on their Huntsman. And as we were leaving the dock, Dad went to shut the window as he climbed in. So for those that don't know, there's a split windscreen which you can shut and climb through. A lot of boats have it. It fell off. Again,
This
this is a
boat,
2019 Huntsman Centurion that went to the boat show in 2021
yeah,
as a
so
stock boat. So
pretty immaculate.
pretty immaculate.
Yep.
Which the windscreen fell off. And I was like, holy shit, this is not good. And I looked and there was a whole lot of like corrosion. There's to me, so you start looking at the windscreen and you look around all the stainless domes where you connect to the like the
Bimini?
clears and that sort of
Yeah.
thing, yeah, the bimini, um, and that all bubbling, all the paint bubbling. There's a couple of places it's chipped off. Again, this is a 2019 boat. Um, yeah, and I know that listeners at home, do we wash the boat? Of course we wash the boat. We wash the boat same as any Kiwi. Okay, we get home, we spray it with a hose. If we're feeling rich, we spray it with some bloody salt away stuff. But that shit's
You
so
hose it
dear that
down.
we
Yep.
hose it down. It lives in a farm shed on a, you know,
Lifestyle
on
block?
a
Just
lifestyle block, I suppose, a death style block. No
yep.
fertilizers, no anything. Okay, we're 20
Your,
minutes
your,
from the
your
sea.
dad's too tight to put fertilizer on your farm.
That's right. And look, and
He'll piss on the lawn. That's about it.
my dad is not a model citizen. He can be a bit rough on his gear. I will admit that, but he does wash his boat
Yep. As much as anyone else does. Yep.
as much as anyone else does. So anyway, contacted Huntsman Boats, and I want to just say that Mike from Huntsman Boats is fantastic. I sense he is caught in the middle because I also contacted the supplier, see-through windscreens. Now they do supply Huntsman. Interestingly enough, they don't supply, certainly don't supply Ray Glass. So this boat lives alongside this my Ray Glass in the same barn.
In the
Okay,
same salt water, in the
the
same
same sort
environment.
and where the Bayliner lived for years before, no windscreen fell off that. The Huntsman Series 6000 lived, no windscreen fell off that. Okay, the disappointment here is the way that I and my family have been made to feel like idiots that we've done something to destroy this product. No ownership from see-through windscreens,
Yeah.
and and yep, I get Huntsman's caught in the middle, but the point you made because Christian and I've talked about this off air. If you buy a Toyota Hilux, okay, and the paint fails,
Mhm.
who do you blame?
I got a Toyota.
You go to Toyota, and Toyota sorts it out. Even though they might have their cars painted by a third party,
Yep.
okay? Because what annoyed me about see-through windows is they said, oh, because I took some photos and we'd just been out for the day and I took the photos straight away because I wanted to get this problem sorted. And they said, oh, your boat's dirty.
You're like,
There's a, there's,
we've been on the ocean, bro. What do you expect? There's
yep,
gonna be
and there's
salt
a bit
water
of
on it.
salt, but there was also like a bit of mold down on one of the thing. I mean, it's been winter, man. The boat lives in a shed. There's going to be dust. There's normally about this time of year, Labour weekends, traditionally the weekend where everyone pulls out their boat, their batteries are fucked, and you clean your boat
And the Coast Guard gets lots
and
of call out.
The Coast Guard gets a hell of a lot of call out. Okay, like we're just your classic Kiwi people. So
Yep.
to try and say, oh, your boat's a bloody disgrace, like, A, I'm a customer, mate.
Yeah.
Two, like 5 years and your product's failed. Meanwhile, my Ray glass, which is 1998, is pretty much immaculate on the windscreen. Washed in the
Yep.
same way, been through the salt, you know.
And I'm just
I,
going to go all the aluminium on my 1988 Benito, whatever I've got.
it's fine.
Fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
We won't even talk about my dad's one because it's only been in use in the lake. Who cares?
Yeah, so that should be perfect. So to me, when I look at the photo, I am not an expert, but there's electrolysis. There is something causing that paint to bubble. There is dissimilar metals of the rivets and the little screws that hold the domes down, if you like,
Yep.
that
The clear
that
domes.
do not
Yep.
like each other. And
Yep.
you would think, and again, I'm a school teacher. I'm not an expert, but that's what
Well,
it
you're
looks like to me.
even better. You're a PE teacher,
I'm
bro.
a PT. If you can't teach, teach PE, and that's what I am. So I am the bottom feeder. I'm happy to admit that.
The
But
bottom
even
feeder.
I can see that because he keeps telling me, "Oh no, no, you must have cleaned it with something wrong. There must have been an introduction of a contaminant," was his words.
Oh, okay.
How
What a
how did
cock.
I contaminate the inside of all of those rivets?
Oh, you mean you used your boat as it is expected to be used, and you fucked it in
Yeah,
doing so.
the contaminant is salt water, and nowhere in the instructions did it say, "Please don't take this boat into salt water."
Yeah, please, yeah. Oh, and by the way, if you take it out in salt water, heaven forbid, send it back to us to immaculately clean and remove all said contaminants.
Yeah, that's right.
No,
That's right.
they didn't say that. So how's
They
that
didn't.
going for you? This because I've seen a couple of the emails that you sent, and actually I sat down with Chelsea and I read them to her, and she was pleasantly amused.
Well, I'm glad she got a, a bit of interest out of that. Like I haven't held back. I'll never. I don't think I've been rude, but I will be blunt. And
Mm,
I feel like I'm having to fight my corner here, which again, as a customer, I feel I shouldn't have to do. I should not feel made to feel stupid or like not backed in a way when there's something out of my control, like our dream boat that is not that old.
mm,
A product has failed, and we're Huntsman. The point I've tried to make to Huntsman, as well as see through windscreens, is that see-through windscreens product has failed. But
yep.
when people ask, I have to say the windscreen on my Huntsman fell off. And so Huntsman need to own that, but also their relationship. They need to be talking, going, "You are making us look shit."
Oh, also, your product is only lasting 5 years in the salt water.
Yeah,
We want this product to last 25 years minimum because every other boat has in our industry. So don't tell me you can't do that now.
yeah, yeah. So you say where am I at with it? Well, we've sent the middle piece down, and I've said to Huntsman, "Look, you can deal with this guy." I'm honestly not holding my breath. The see-through guy, glass guy, wanted to. He goes, "Oh mate, I'll send you some rivets. You can rivet it back on." And I said, "Hang on, mate. I'm a school teacher. I'm not riveting my windscreen back together,
Yeah,
okay?
my
Because
boat
if
does
I, if
like 70 k's an hour. I don't want that thing to fly off at 70 k's an hour.
yeah, well, if I do it wrong and smash the glass, who's liable? If it falls off in a year's time,
Yeah,
like
you'll just tell
if
me that I did it wrong. Fuck off,
if,
you do it.
if this was some 1970s bloody thing, yeah, okay, I'd have a crack at doing it myself. This is not. This is a new boat. So
2019, yeah.
yeah. So anyway,
Bit of a
rant over.
shame.
But I wanted people to know that. I've been reluctant to share it because I don't want to be the Karen like moaning about it. But it's dragged on for so long that I feel pretty shit about it, to be frank. And if you've had any issues with customer service with boats, please reach out to us. Even just as a bit of a yarn, bit of a laugh about it. We might not be able to do anything about it, or would be happy to talk about it on the podcast because a lot of these guys, I mean, if I went to buy a brand new Ray glass tomorrow, they'd be phoning me back. If I said,
Mm.
"Can I have one of your new 3000s at $400,000?" Mate, he would be doing all sorts of bloody things
He'd
to
take you on a
any
date
bit of
and
my
probably
anatomy. Yeah,
probably give you that reach around that you've always
but to not
desired.
even call me back or to have products fail soon after, it's
Oh, it's
disappointing.
see if I was going to be buying us because we love Huntsman and I know how this works. They would have gone to one of their suppliers or put it out to market to say provide us with windscreens for this specification for our boat. Who can do it? Cool, we'll pick you. But if I heard that and I heard, oh, I'm going to have issues with my boat after 5 years, and they're going to claim it's not covered under warranty or whatever and all that sort of stuff. And I go, oh, I'd actually, how much is a windscreen replacement? Oh, like $5,000. Oh, I'd rather not. I'm going to go for something else.
Absolutely.
Like,
Absolutely. Yeah.
you're telling me that I can't use my boat in salt water?
But there's that, but there's also this like things fail. We don't know. We just don't know with boats. But what frustrates me is that so many brands talk about the customer experience, or
Yeah, yeah.
we're a family. A lot of brands use the term family, which makes me sick, by the way. But anyway, you know, and I just want to. It's for me, it's called out. We've talked about Dickie before and the way they've treated us at the boat show. Like didn't
Yep,
even want to know us about getting on a boat.
yep.
We talked about Ray Glass a minute ago. We've had experiences. Like part of being a family, or being a part of the Huntsman team, or whatever you want to call it, is backing them all times. If something fails, feel like you want to feel like you've been backed. Hey, that's really shit. Let's come up with a solution.
Mm, mm.
Not radio silence. Not, oh, you must have done that. You must have done that. Don't really know. Trying to shift blame. That's that to me is not what I would call family. And if you're listening from any boat brands, you're probably not. But be it a Rae Line, be it a Makara, be it a whatever, back your product, because it's your name. Even if it's your supplier's product, it's your name that's going to be dragged through the mud. And there's so many good boats in New Zealand. We are so lucky that people will just go, do you know what? I won't buy another one of them.
Yep, yep. That's true,
Yeah,
and that's the joys of this market, eh? You can pick. It's a
yeah,
buyer's market.
yeah. Anyway, bro, on that note, I think I will let you go back to the aforementioned Chelsea. I'm glad you
Oh
enjoyed
no,
my
no.
email.
I thought you wanted to. I'm gonna pick your brains about investments. Or was that another night? Are you gonna let me off
That's
for one night?
that's our other podcast of how to make a big pile of money into a little pile of money with Christian and Jake.
Yeah, oh, cool. I like that. Sounds like a great podcast.
The unable investors.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The reach around
Yeah,
investments.
yeah. Might have thought just go to the TAB.
Yeah, put it on black.
But and once again, just want to say a bit of a shout out to people who've reached out. Our last podcast did really well. That Mackinac boat seemed to be a hit with you guys. Heaps of contact about that. Definitely a Marmite boat. Lots of people loved it. Some people not so much. But we really do appreciate your messages, commenting on the show, whatever it might be, sharing your experiences. We absolutely love hearing from you. We genuinely get a high out of it. So whether you're commenting on YouTube, uh, reaching out on our social channel, Instagram at Unable Seaman, or email us at unableseaman@gmail.com, we would love to hear from you. Anyway, bro, thank you for another podcast. Thank you for bringing some content for once. And we will
Fucker.
and we will see you when we see you. Bye.
Sure.